is not alone, however, in redefining what a single serving size is. 20 years ago, a standard bagel was about 3 inches in diameter and contained about 140 calories. Today, bagels typically are nearly 6 inches in diameter and pack 350 calories. And that's before we start layering on the cream cheese. While there's countless examples of growing food portion sizes, the way beverages are marketed, sold, and consumed are also changing. Beverages have become a significant source of increased calorie consumption based on study after study. And when we talk about beverages, it's difficult to find a source or a product that's more ubiquitous and has also grown in size more than sugar-sweetened beverages. They're all around us, everywhere we go, not just in food restaurants, but everywhere and anywhere we go. Soda pop was originally sold in 6 to 8 ounce bottles, and in time, a 12-ounce can became the standard size for a soda pop. And in time, we've seen 16-ounce bottles become commonplace, now 20-ounce bottles commonplace, and I know you see some of the examples here on the table. Also can't help but call attention to another staple in society. In 1980, 7-Eleven pioneered what was known as the Big Gulp. They started off with a gulp, then came the Big Gulp, which held 32 ounces of soda. And over time, that big Gulp grew into Super Big Gulp. And today, a double Big Gulp is available at your nearest 7-Eleven. The double Gulp contains 64 ounces of soda, 1.9 liters. Folks, that's a half gallon of soda and roughly 800 of the non-diet, 800 calories in a non-diet soda. And it is clearly marketed as an individual serving. In that drink is the equivalent of 54 cubes of sugar. Burgers, bagels, and beverages have all grown in their serving sizes. But researchers tell us that there's something about beverages that's different. When we consume a burger or a bagel, our body registers both the calories and the mass that we've consumed, and giving us the sensation that we're full. The same cannot be said of sugar-sweetened beverages, so we read in a lot of the reports that have come to our attention. I imagine that we'll hear a lot today about causation and correlation today. And believe me, we understand the difference. Just because the rooster crows at sunrise does not mean the sun rises because the rooster crows. But today's hearing isn't about roosters and it isn't about the sun. It's about the flood of sugar-sweetened drinks that has swept over our nation and the role that many believe it plays in our obesity epidemic. A steady stream of studies has come across my desk from America's most respected institutions that beat like a drum, making the connection between sugar-sweetened drinks and obesity. The most recent of these reports by the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA here, right in our backyard, along with the Center for Public Health Policy, again makes this link. But what caught my attention is that it was a California-specific study. And so as chair of this committee, I felt that it was due time that we hold a hearing and have a focused conversation on this subject. And that's why we're here today. We're here today to hear from experts. We're here today to hear from researchers. We're here today to hear from industry. We're here today to hear from advocates. I'll speak for myself in saying that I'm not here to announce the introduction of legislation or to promote any single fix-all solution. I am here at this hearing to help put the facts on the table for all of us in the light of day, in the transparency and visibility that only comes with a formal governmental legislative hearing, to hear from everybody and then and only then decide what would be the best way to move forward. So before we get started with the first panel, I want to acknowledge that this is a joint hearing with the Senate Health Committee, chaired by my colleague, Senator Elaine Alquist, who joins us from San Jose. She chairs the Senate Health Committee and also feels very passionate about this issue, and I'm pleased that our offices were able to work together to organize this hearing and bring it forward. We're also joined today by a fellow colleague from the Los Angeles area, the newest member of the California State Senate, Curran Price, as well as the majority leader of the California State Senate from the Central Valley, Senator Dean Flores. At this time, I'd invite Senator Alquist and any of our colleagues to make some opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Padilla. Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here in Los Angeles with you. Senator Padilla, my good friend, and we've worked together since the day he was really elected to the state Senate, and he's a fine legislator. Senator Padilla has really laid out the issues, so I will not give my complete remarks, but try and hit just some of the points. I'm a former teacher, a former educator, and so my goal today is to really learn from you and to, at the same time, for us to help educate the public. As you may know, our children, and I'm a yaya, that's a Greek grandmother, our children are drinking sodas that have up to 17 teaspoons of sugar in them, and they're drinking sodas 2 or 3 times a day. As the Senate Health Chair and a member and former chair of the Senate Subcommittee on Health and Human Services, I know that we appropriate tens of billions of tax dollars to health care programs, including $14 billion to Medi-Cal. My primary concern is to identify preventative measures we can adopt to improve health and reduce health care costs. When estimates suggest that obesity is costing California some $41 billion a year, and diabetes is costing us nearly $18 billion a year, it's clear that we have a public health epidemic of diabesity, the diabetes and obesity epidemics that we know go hand in hand. They need to be addressed, and it's clear that obesity costs are double today what they were in the year 2000. We can no longer ignore the cost to the state caused by obesity and diabetes, and we can no longer ignore the cost to families, to our loved ones. I know that diabetes is a huge issue in the Latino community, and I will say it is also a huge issue in other communities. In my Greek family, and I'm the daughter of a Greek immigrant, all my family came from Greece, I was the only member of my nuclear family that did not and does not have diabetes. I am a chunky Greek, and I have a long history of struggling with this, and thank goodness I've never been diabetic. But I'm also lucky, because for some people it is harder than it is for me. And so for many years, and I was elected first to the Assembly back in '96, I worked on a ban for sodas in school vending machines. I authored a law that bans trans fats in school foods provided by outside vendors and vending machines, and have tried to increase access to healthy foods in underserved areas through a grant program to bring fresh fruits and vegetables to our neighborhoods. And I was pleased to work with Senator Padilla on his menu labeling bill, and to see that that was signed into law, and that will help to educate the public. So today I want to hear from leading scientists and researchers about what soda does to the human body, and what kind of dependence or addiction-like behavior